So I can readmit them. So now we learned about these two people, okay, and we learned that they gather knowledge through their minds, through their senses, and so on. So there is nothing in this world that actually has truth if it's not processed in their minds. Do you understand? What I mean by that is that the world itself, the way we understand the world, depends on our mind. Okay. Now, structuralists, now this can be very subjective. The humanist perspective can be subjective, right? Because we experience the world differently, okay, from each other. Everyone has a different conception of the world. If you are a humanist, you believe that we have a different conception of the world because we have different minds, right? And different sensory experiences. Okay. Now, in structuralism, okay, the idea about how we know about this world is slightly different from that, because structuralists thought that the humanist idea was too subjective, okay, too subjective, because it depended on the individual to come up with the knowledge, the new knowledge. Structuralists believe that there is something objective, okay, that we all share, that through which we know about this world, okay. Now, in structuralism, who was the founder of structuralism? Can somebody tell me? Ferdinand de Saussure. I see Nadia first. Okay. Now, Ferdinand de Saussure was a linguist, okay, and linguistics is the one of the first fields to be to adapt this type of thinking, which is structuralist. Now, what is structuralism? Can somebody tell me? What in general is structuralism?
It's a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking to find a fundamental basic unit of which anything is made.
Okay, so the belief that actually everything is structured, right? Yeah, everything is structured, everything has a structure. Okay, so and you see, everything that you see actually has a structure because, for example, this smartphone has atoms that make it, right? The pencil has two components, the wood and the charcoal, okay, that make the pencil. Okay, so everything has a structure. So in the study of literature, specifically because this is a literary criticism, what is the structure of literature? Can somebody tell me? What is the structure? What is the structure? How is literature made up?
Words.
Yes, Nurul Farzana, words, yeah? Words are the structure. From words we have literature, right? From poetry needs words, novels needs words, okay? It's basically words. Yeah. So structuralism and the study of literature is basically the study of words. Okay. Now, how do we understand these words? According to the structuralists, according to the linguists, okay, because linguists are also structuralists. According to the Ferdinand de Saussure, he was the founder of linguistics. Okay, we have something in our mind that categorizes all these words that we hear every day. For example, we hear a name in a sentence, we know that it's a noun. Okay, we read a word in a sentence, we know that it's a verb. Okay. Now we read another word that comes after a noun, we know that it's an adjective. Okay, or after a verb it becomes an adverb. Okay, so what allows that structure to appear? And how do we understand the structure? According to the Saussure, we have something in our minds that are like boxes. You know, it allows us to box in the words in the appropriate places. So we know that one thing is a noun, another thing is a verb, but it has to come in a context of language. Different languages have different context, different ways of placing the words. Okay, some languages, like English, for example, subject, verb, object, right? Okay, SVO. Okay, so the first noun, the first word is a noun, but it's a subject, the thing that does something, and then the verb, and then the object. So different languages have different ways of structuring this. So the language will tell you how to structure, but you, when you read something, you immediately know that this has to be the subject, this has to be the object, this has to be the verb. Okay, so he calls this kind of way of structuring. The mind has a way of structuring words. Now he has also a few things to say about words. What are they? How do we, at the level of words? Okay, at the level of words, what do we have at the level of words? We have a word, which is an image and a sound. Can be an image, right? You can see the word, you can read the word, but it can be a sound also. Like Amelia, okay, it's a word, right? Okay, what goes after that?
There's a signifier and a signified.
Yeah. So what is the signifier? And a word is what?
It's
A signifier or signified?
it's the sound pattern of a word.
Yes, it's a
Sound pattern.
signifier, right?
Yes.
It's a signifier. So I'll see your attendance list, for example. Okay, it's full of signifiers, words. Okay, words are signifiers, but they signify something, which is called signified. Okay, so what is a signified?
It's the meaning of the word.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Idea or concept, a meaning of the word. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can have many, but since Annie Sophia, okay, I think I'll give both of you. Okay. Marks. Now, can we say that? Can I take a different name tomorrow? Can I name myself Annie Sophia? I want to follow somebody else in this. Yeah. Can I name myself Annie Sophia? Is it possible for me to change my name? I go to the National Registry. Can I change my name? Yes, right? Yes, I can do that. Okay. So there is exactly no relationship, no solid relationship between a signifier and a signified. I can have the signified can change its name. Okay, anytime. Yeah? You can give a different signifier to a signified. For example, you can call somebody else's name. Okay, if everyone agrees, then the person can change the name. Okay, so this means that the two relationship, the relationship between the signified and signifier is very what did Sophia say? What kind of relationship do they have? Is it solid or is arbitrary? Yes.
Arbitrary.
Yeah. Shazlin, yeah. Yes, you answered first. Shazlin is arbitrary. Okay. So that's why when certain words they assume very negative connotations, okay, they can be changed. For example, in Malaysia, we call pigs. Pig, the animal, okay, we call it babi. In Malay, it's called babi. Okay, it used to be called babi, but babi has assumed a very negative meaning. If you don't like brick, yeah, Osama, if you don't like anyone, you can call them babi. Okay, but it's very rude, isn't it? Yeah. So
Yeah, that is very rude.
yeah, so in Malay, we have changed officially the name of babi to khinzir. So somehow khinzir is has a not a positive connotation, but it has no. It's a neutral word. Okay, neutral word. In Malay language, we don't have female or male words, right? Like in Arabic, we have female and male words, right? Okay,
Yeah.
but in Malay we don't have that. However, we do have these connotations. And what is babi or khinzir in Arabic?
It's khinzir.
Yeah, so it's taken from Arabic, right? That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, so it has a neutral connotation. Okay, so in Malay or in English we have words like washroom, toilet. Okay, what else? You can call. What else can you call the toilet?
Bathroom.
The loo.
Bathroom. Okay. Ladies' room, loo, and all that. Okay, but this word they have different connotations. Loo may be colloquial, a bathroom may be more formal, and so on. So we have this idea that the words can have different connotations, but it's all very arbitrary. Now, having said that, there are people who argue. There are people who argue that certain word, because these words they come from something called signifying system. Signifying system, okay. Signifying system is anything that has signifier and signified. The language is a part of that. Okay. What else has a signifying system? Can Oki tell me, Takashi? Can Takashi tell me? You're very quiet, Takashi. Can you tell me what else have signifying system? Are you here? Huh? Okay. So maybe I have some connection problem there. What else has signifying system? Can somebody tell me?
Pantomime?
Hmm?
Pantomime?
Sign language. Sign language. Yeah.
Pantomime.
Again?
Pantomime.
For example, what was in the signifying system?
Pantomime.
Pantomime, yes, pantomime. But what is in the signifying system? There are signs, right? Signs, pantomime, when you mix certain gestures, they are meant to signify certain meanings. Okay. For example, pantomime like this. Okay, you holding your nose there. Are you trying to make your nose sharper? No? Okay, what does it mean?
Something stinky.
Arrogant?
That you are most, okay, some people say flu, but it means that you smell, the thing around you, something around you smells bad, right? You don't want to smell it.
Arrogant.
Yeah. So it is basically, some people say that pantomime is very close to each other. The signifier and signified is has a very solid relationship. Okay, but this is not the case actually. Okay, for example, if an Indian, how does an Indian from India say no? Well, what is this to an Indian? Yeah? I know somebody from India, a lecturer in UIA. I think he has resigned when you joined UIA. His name is Dr. Subra. Okay, you know Dr. Subra? No.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
You know. Oh, okay. So Dr. Subra, once he said something to in a meeting, okay, and then somebody said, "Is that a yes or a no?" And he said, so the person was very confused, because to an Indian, this is what? This is a yes, okay. A no, what is a no? A no is actually by nodding. Yeah, it's the reverse of what you normally expect from other people. So pantomime can actually be very culture related. Okay, and anyone wants to share with me an example of movements, gestures that are very culturally related?
I think like Japanese.
Can I see your
Like they
face?
bow.
Can I see your face, Nurul Salesia?
Yes.
Can I see your face?
Sekejap, wait.
Okay. Yeah? No? Okay. Okay. Can you give me can you say again?
When they bow, like Japanese,
Uh-huh.
to show respect.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah. So
To
is
show
that,
respect.
yeah, but is it can it mean something different in another culture?
I think I'm not so sure.
I think like in Islam we rukuk.
Ruko, yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's a bit changed, right? To see people bowing so low, isn't it? They bow very low. Yeah. So those are the things, because it can mean something different for other people, even though some people say that pantomime is very close to what they mean. Yeah? The sign is very close to the meaning. So what other signifying systems resemble this? Okay, in words, for example, we were talking about words just now, and how words are composed of signifier and signified. Now, some words are said to be closer, some signifiers are said to be closer to the signified in terms of meaning. And they are called, what are they called? Words that are closer to the signified. And someone can you tell me? It's onomatopoeia. Okay, onomatopoeia. Have you heard of it before? It's in the notes. Yeah, onomatopoeia means wow. Okay, or bang. I banged his head on the floor. Okay, okay. So it means it symbolizes the sound that when you do the certain act, it will produce that sound. So it symbolizes that sound. The cat is meowing. Okay? For example, the rooster is croaking. Okay, croaking, yeah, croaking. So you have sounds that symbolize words. Okay. Now, is this true that they have a very solid relationship between signifier and signified? Onomatopoeias have very solid relationships between signifier and its signified. It's not necessarily true. Yesterday I saw a Netflix series, okay, and it is a makeover series. So at the end of the show, they show the mother looking at the newly furbished room, okay, and instead of saying wow, she said sogo, 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 something like sogi, okay. So somebody asked, what does it mean? Yeah. Maybe Takashi can explain this, but I don't know what is happening there. So instead of saying wow, she said sugu, sugu, sogi, something like that. So it was very strange, but the word is actually means wow. Okay? But in several other languages, can Osama, can you tell us what in Arabic? How do you express your amazement at something? What word do you use?
Well, it's usually just a sound, like a random sound. But if you want to be specific, you say "Ya rawa."
You say that again?
Ya rawa.
Okay. So I can never really express that because it's not in my language, but that's how you express wow, right?
Yes, that's how in Arabic.
Okay. So in Malay, do you know? Anyone here can give the Malay version? Normally say Ya Allah, right? Okay, or maybe. Well, what do we say?
Wow.
Wah. Okay, wah. right? Wah, right? You can use wah. That's a Malay word. Wow, it's like okay. The fuyo is a bit colloquial, okay. But wah is the possibly the Malay word for that. Okay, yeah. So you have other answers there. I forgot. Okay, maybe I can look up who gave the first answer there. So then you have the sounds that onomatopoeia. They're meant to resemble um, the same feeling but different sounds. Okay, and you can see many examples on the slide that I have put on Itaklim. Okay, I put the different examples there also. Yeah? In French, they have. In English, we have ouch. Ouch, when you hit something, you say ouch. But in French, it's something else. Okay.
In,
We,
in French, it's oh mon Dieu.
yeah, oh my God, also, yes.
Yeah.
But it's more like a sound. You have to make it onomatopoeia. It's actually a sound. Yeah. Ado, yes. In Malay, we have ado. In Arabic, when you hit something, your falls or you hit something, what do we say?
When you what?
When you fall or you hit something, your body hit something, you feel pain. What do you say?
You say Allah.
Okay. Yeah. That is okay too, but that's not actually an onomatopoeia, but it's true. Yeah.
Mm.
So these are onomatopoeias, but they can also differ. They can be different from each other. Now, how does we're talking about words and saying that signifier has an arbitrary relationship with signified. Okay. Now, how does one signifier get its value? It has a value, right? I mean, a meaning to us. How does it have a value in comparison to other words? Is it a relationship does it have a positive relationship with other words, meaning that it's the same as other words or different? It has to be different from other words. In the same class, for example, how does it gain its own value? Is it from being different from other words or from being the same as other words in the same class, being different, yes. One word exactly. Okay, it's from being different. If you all wear blue, then the blue means nothing. But one person is wearing blue and another person is red and another person is wearing green. So the blue means something because it's not red, it's not green. Okay, like your names also. Farah Nisa is different from Farah Shamsul, okay, and different from Nadia Jamaluddin because the words that make up your name are different from each other. Okay, so the idea of difference is very important here. So now we have understood that. Yeah. And also this goes for signifier and signified for both. Okay, not only do you have different names or different signifiers to show who you are, but you are also different from each other. Okay, so from this difference you get your value. That is why when you enter a competition, for example, do you try to be like other contestants? No. If you want to win, you have to be different from other contestants, right? Okay. So now we look at, okay, I'm looking at the notes here. Okay, so we also we had talked about the different meanings of signifier and signified, how that is gained through the idea of difference. Okay, and also that they follow certain rules because words are structured in a way that follows a system. For example, words that are resembling colors, for example, has to be in one box called colors. Okay, so that's how we understand words. And colors are nouns, and our mind will tell us how to box these words into certain categories. Okay, now we also now we go to another level, okay, which is to see the words, okay, as parole. Okay, Chaucer also uses this classification, which is parole and lang. Okay, parole are words that we say gain value through difference, but lang is language in general. Okay, language in general, and it's composed of paroles. Now, sometimes the lang can be a class, okay, and you are the paroles. So it is taken into the level of philosophy because it can be a system in itself. Okay, lang can be a system, but paroles are the units that make up the lang. Okay, but lang, basically, if you translate it from French, it means language, and then parole are the words that make up the language. Okay. Now, how do we kind of like when we talk every day, we don't use words, we use sentences. Okay. Now, how do we store the words in our minds so that we can make up the sentences? Now, for Saussure, there are two ways that we can store the words, the paroles in our mind to make up the sentences. And that is, the first one is called, anyone can give me the first system? There are two ways. The first way is called
Syntagmatic.
syntagmatic. Okay. Syntagmatic means to follow the grammatical system, okay, of SVO. Okay. One word comes after the other. Now, what is the other word?
Associative.
Associative is another word that we can associate in our mind. Okay. We use the words, for example, we store the words according to our feelings about the words. When we like something, we can store it. Like, for example, we like to eat nasi lemak. Okay, in Malaysia, we like to eat nasi lemak. We can store it with words that we like movie, certain movies or food or songs or person. Okay, that's how we store the words in our mind. For example, a word like flower, okay, a rose. Somebody likes the word, likes to see a rose, right? So he or she takes the word rose and stores it in his mind or her mind, and it's stored with other things that that person like ice cream or beautiful house and so on. Okay, so that is how we store the words. The first is through syntagmatic relationship. We store the word through syntagmatic relationship by looking at the grammatical system. Okay, and we understand the sentence through the grammatical system, SVO. We know that the first is subject, and then comes verb, and then object. Okay, so every word that we hear has to fit into this system. If we are a speaker of English, we will do that. But we will also have a different kind of storage, which relies on, which places more emphasis on meaning. Okay, That's how we store the words also in our mind. Now, we have two ways of storing words. And the first way is fairly clear because it is follows a grammatical system. But the second way, which is associative, follows something that is inside your mind and therefore a bit more difficult to figure out. Because you may say a word to a person or you may say a sentence to that person, but it has words that they don't like, okay, then the person will have a very negative reaction to what you are saying. For example, you call somebody Dua Lupa, for example. She called her father Babi because in her language, Babi means dad, okay? But, she had a lot of responses on her Instagram saying that she is calling her father a pig and so on, okay? Because the people who read her Instagram, they are Malays, they think that Dua Lipa is being disrespectful, they're making fun of her also. So it is not good lah. The feeling that Dua Lipa has about her followers is not good because these followers from Malaysia have been very rude to her. Okay, because her in her mind, the word has a positive, meaning. She associates it with something positive, but to others it's very negative. Okay, so now in literature we have something similar because we break down the patterns established in strictly grammatical syntagmatic relations and allow for the new ways of linking units or what is called metaphor. Okay, so so we may, if we read a piece of literature, you may come across a poem that talks about roses, for example. I think there's one poem in the slide that talks about roses, but I think it's not here. Yeah, I cannot see it here. But the roses in the poem signify more than a rose. Okay, it's a poem by Robert Burns. Robert Burns, I think. It's called, it's, if I remember correctly, okay, the lines are, thou art rose. Why art, I don't remember the poem, sorry. But it's telling the rose that is sick, okay? And there's the worm that wants to get into the rose and destroy it, and so on. So it ends its life. But actually, the poem is more than that. It's not just about the rose. A rose could be a woman, okay, a young woman, and a man, for example, wants to become a lover and destroy her life. Okay, that is one interpretation of the poem. Another interpretation is that the rose could stand for the country, okay, the country of England, because roses are the national flower of England. Okay, so an enemy, for example, wants to destroy England and become like the worm. Okay. So how do we understand the poem? We cannot understand it strictly by following our grammatical rules and also by logic, okay? Because the rose symbolizes something else. It can be a woman, a young woman, a country, and so on, okay? So it has various meanings. So this is how we understand literature, by looking at the connotation, by looking at the, not only connotation, but looking at the different meanings that it has. In our, we can understand this, we can do this, we can understand a metaphor, for example, or a figurative language, because in our head, we have the capacity to associate one word with a different concept. Like a rose is not associated with a rose only, but with a young woman or a country. Okay, so we are able to do that in our mind. For literature, Okay. I'm just going to show you the slide because I prefer to show you the slides. It's going to take me a lot of time to explain things if I don't show you the slide. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at this. Okay, so this is the slide here. This is another slide. Okay, structuralism and literature. In literary theory, structuralist criticism relates literary text to a larger structure, which may be a particular genre. For example, you try to, in movies, for example, we have horror movies, we have romantic comedies, okay? So you structure the movie, a certain movie under one of these categories, one of these genres, or you can structure it under a range of intertextual connections. For example, you connect two different stories together because one story may be mentioning another story. Okay, so you structure the other story inside the same structure. Okay, so this is what is called intertextual, where stories are reminding you of another story. Yeah? So another way is a model of a universal narrative structure or a system of recurrent patterns or motifs. You see similarities between fairy tales. For example, you see similarities between Snow White and Cinderella because both have very evil stepmothers. Okay, so there is a structure to the story, and even to the movies and so on. So structuralism sees every text as following some kind of structure. Hence, a reader who adopts a structuralist approach should have knowledge of more than one text. Okay? So structural literary criticism argues that the literary banter of a text can lie only in a new structure rather than in the specifics of character development and voice in which the structure is expressed. It follows this lead by several people like Vladimir Prop, Algredas, Julian Grimard, and Claude Levi-Strauss. So what do you mean by this literary banter of the text? The literary banter of a text rely more on the idea that the structure is given a different shape. Okay, a good story would come up with slightly different structure than other stories because it gives a new way of looking at things, a new structure to something that you are used to. For example, Cinderella and Snow White, they are about the structure is slightly it's slightly different. Okay, so you have two different stories there, but it's basically the good the princess who, the good woman. Okay, because Cinderella isn't a princess. The good woman, the good young lady who tries to escape from the stepmother. Okay, and then she is found by a prince, but in and the prince rescues her. Okay, but in Snow White is a bit more complicated because she actually meets the 7 dwarfs. Okay, and she is exposed to different types of magic and so on. Okay, so if you were to ask me which story is very interesting, I would say that Snow White is more interesting because there are many more things that happen in the story, okay, than in Cinderella. And structuralists can show how multiple texts share many similarities. Yet the problem with this approach is that it can be highly reductive, as Captain Belty puts it, the structuralist danger of collecting all difference. Okay, so this is, when you study about structuralism and literature, you wonder what is the use of this. Okay, But one way of using this is to create new stories. If you want to create movies, for example, you can create new movies based on old structures. Like in Snow White and Cinderella, it's basically the same structure, but Snow White is it's different. It makes a lot of adjustment to the story, yeah, where you have seven dwarfs, you have magical elements, and so on. Yeah? Now you can see from this example, we are given West Side Story, a play, which is the story of, it follows the structure of Romeo and Juliet. Okay, because I don't know. I know that some of you may not, or maybe most of you do not know what West Side Story is, but it's actually a Broadway show that was popular in the 1960s. But it follows the structure of Romeo and Juliet. It has boy plus girl, and then boy loves girl, girl loves boy. Okay, so boy plus girl. Despite the fact that they belong to two groups that hate each other, so boys group minus girls group, or opposing forces, and the conflict is resolved by their death. So it follows Romeo and Juliet, and critics would say that this has no literary banter because it has no difference from, no structural difference from Romeo and Juliet. But when you look at this story, okay, of two friendly families, boy family and girl's family, that arrange a marriage between their children, despite the fact that the children hate each other, boy minus girl, and then the children commit suicide to escape the arranged marriage. So you see an almost similar structure, but it's inverted. It's made different. It's made to be different than the original structure, and that's how you create new things in literature. Sometimes you use structures that are present, and then you change the way it's ordered, and you create something new. So this is the study of structuralism in literature. Anyone has anything to ask? Anyone has anything to ask? Do you understand what I was talking about? We're looking basically at structure, and then words, how the relationship is arbitrary, okay? And then even though some words look like they are the same, the signifier looks like it has a very solid connection to the signified, but actually it doesn't, okay? Everything can be changed, the relationship can be changed, especially the signifiers, they can be changed. Okay? And then we took a look at how we structure the words into our head. We have two systems, one associative and the other syntagmatic, right? Syntagmatic is basically following the grammatical rules. That's how we structure the words inside our mind. We follow the boxes that we have in our mind for the words. And then associative, which is not to follow the boxes, but to have a very liberal way of associating things. Like, for example, what you like, okay? So it can be composed of nouns, it can be composed of verbs, it can be composed of adjectives, okay? So this way, associative allows us to create what is called literature, because literature can have, a word in literature can have many meanings, especially in a poem, okay? Like roses can mean a young lady, it can mean a country, okay? So this is how we do it in, this is how we do in linguistics, okay, at the level of words. And then the level of lung, of course, we have many words, the system itself, but parole is the word itself. These are just different names for the same concept of words and language. Now we take that level of structuralism to literature, wherein we talk about the structures of movies, how we can actually categorize movies based on the genre, horror movie, romantic movie, or intertextual references where they refer to each other. One movie can refer to another movie. For example, what can I say? If Shrek, for example, Shrek, it refers to other fairy tales, right? Okay. So you can associate Shrek with Prince Charming, with Sleeping Beauty, and so on. Okay, so it's the same thing. And then we have what can be, movies or literature that can be associated because of the narrative structure. Okay? How the story is told, and this is told because of the way it's done. The plot is similar. For example, Snow White and Cinderella, they're basically similar because they have bad type mother, evil type sisters. No, it's not for Snow White. Yeah, but Prince Charming, for example. Okay, so how using the last one, the last category, you can also create new things by juxtaposing or maybe placing the items in the structure differently. Okay, you can see the example of Romeo and Juliet. Okay, boy loves girl, girls love boy, boys family hate girls family, girls hate family hate boys family, both end up dead. But you can change the structure. You can say that girls family likes boys family and the same, and then girls and boys hate each other, but they end up dead. So it's basically following a similar structure, but there is a lot of difference between the two. Okay, there's so much more people can talk about if we have something like that. So anyone wants to offer another way, another structure that they have observed? Yeah? Nowadays people they are watching Divergent, for example. They like to watch movies that actually come in three versions, three sequels, right? Three sequels. Is Divergent similar to other sequels? Is it similar to what do you call that? Mockingjay? Hunger Games?
Hunger Games.
Yeah. Can I see your face? I find it easier to talk to a face rather than to a picture. In what way? Can you see the similarities there?
Is a dystopian world.
Again? Yeah?
Both movie is a dystopian world.
Okay, dystopian world, yes. Or something wrong with the world, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not with the person, it's with the world. Both are about survival, yes. Surviving in this very cruel world. Okay. So there is similarity. Okay, dystopian, surviving, okay, in the cruel world. What else can we say about the movies?
Both about cruel government, dictatorship.
Okay, dictatorship, yeah. What else?
Strong female protagonist.
Female protagonist, right? Yeah, strong. So, what else?
Both have division.
No, yeah, they
Like
have
in
divisions. Okay, because the society are divided, right? Because that's how the ruler managed to control the society by dividing it. You see that especially in Hunger Games, where one side is the first zone, yeah, is rich and so on, and in Divergent, the first district, yes, first district is rich and so on, and then Divergent we have the different factions, but one faction is always at the top there, right? Which is abnegation at the beginning, and then you redict that once you take over. Okay, so you see the similarity there. Anything else you will observe? Are these female protagonists? They want to assume leadership? Do they want to become leaders? Are they willing to become fighters, or they are forced to become the protagonists? In a way, they don't want to be, right? They don't want to, they're reluctant, but they are forced into that position. So they are less threatening. You know why? Maybe perhaps the movie makers want to make them less threatening to viewers. Viewers can accept a woman who doesn't really want power but has to assume power, right? Okay, this. So anything else that you observe from the movies? What makes it different from each other? If it's the same thing, then we are bored, right? We'll be bored. Well, what makes it different? Anything that makes it different? Okay, no superpower. Hunger Games. Normal person, normal society. Anything else? Divergent. Maybe we can say that she has divergent. There is something in her that is different from other people. Yes, there is some differences. What about the storyline? Yes, it is a sister. But Divergent doesn't have any sister. Yeah, and it says she has a brother, but a brother turned against her. Okay, so it's different. So now, in actually, it's based on something else. Also, we will learn about this. Why the two stories are different. Okay, because we can see that Mockingjay is basically she will win at the end, in the sense that she kills the dictator. Okay, and then she accomplishes peacefulness. But what happens to Trish? Trish, in the Tory Divergent. Actually, if you read through all the three books, and they didn't make the last movie because it was not a successful franchise, right? So she dies actually in the last one. Yeah, she dies. So these are some of the differences, and we will go through this again when we do archetypal criticism. Okay? Now, actually, I think that's about it for today's class. Yeah, I think you basically know certain things. Do you have any question? So I will see you on Thursday. Okay, on Thursday we'll be doing the. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more. Okay. We have one more slide, but I think I can do that later. Okay, on Thursday. Okay, so thank you so much for sitting to this class. Okay, I'll see you on Thursday. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Have a nice day.
Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Doctor.